Joanne, you have class tomorrow. You gotta do your intro now.
Hi, I'm Chui. This is Crash Course Architecture, and how about we find somewhere better to talk? Much better. Last week, we talked about how Rainer Banham believed in the ecosystem of the home and how mastery of the relationship between the architecture and its mechanical systems contribute to the architect's freedom of design. Today, we're going to dive deeper into what this means through case studies of Frank Lloyd Wright and the evolution of his three styles: Prairie style, Usonian style, and his modern works.
Joanne, what's Prairie style?
I'm glad you asked. In the late 1900s, architecture in the United States was greatly influenced by European styles. It placed less value on the construction and materials behind it and more on the aesthetic and artistic imagination, which manifested itself into excessively ornate aesthetics that was mass-produced with machinery and factory production. The interiors were boxily divided. With the introduction of the arts and crafts style as a movement against the decorative arts, against beauty without intelligence, Frank Lloyd Wright emerged with a new American style reminiscent of the Midwest landscape, the Prairie style. After seeing the Japanese temple exhibited at the Chicago's World Fair, was inspired by the floating roofs of Japanese temples, or rather, the articulation of space through a skeletal framework absent of walls. The Japanese model of a wooden skeleton upholding a roof is delineated in his Prairie-style homes, not only with the strong horizontal lines visible in the elevations, but also in the dynamic openness of the interior not bound by conventional walls and doors. The recurrent fireplace and chimney, as the centripetal force in which the rest of the house is grounded by, indicates the priority of the concept of heating intrinsic in his designs. With the Prairie style, Wright wanted to establish a sense of harmony between the houses and nature, inside and outside, making the structure appear as if it naturally grew from the site. This philosophy manifested itself in every aspect of the Prairie homes, including the furniture, rugs, and mechanical systems. Banham praises Wright in saying that the inventiveness and total control over every aspect of the building that characterizes the Prairie houses of 1899 to 1910. Nothing else that anybody else did for decades was to match their easy mastery of environmental control. With the onset of the Great Depression, Frank Lloyd Wright became interested in affordable mass housing, eliminating the cost of labor, even living costs. While it never manifested as affordable mass housing and was rather only able to be afforded by the upper middle class, the concepts are inherent. There are many similarities with the Prairie-style house. Some can even say it's a more modern Prairie house. It has large overhangs for passive heating and cooling strategies, open living areas, built-in furnishings, celebration of natural materials, strong horizontals to simplify fabrication, and natural lighting with clerestory windows. Differences between the Usonian style houses and the Prairie style houses is that it is a small one-story structure set on a concrete slab with radiant heating. There's no attic or basement. There's carports instead of garages, and consolidation of plumbing. Frank Lloyd Wright wrote in the essential Frank Lloyd Wright Critical Writings in Architecture that it is necessary to consolidate and simplify the three appurtenant systems: heating, lighting, and sanitation. He also wrote, "We need no radiators, no light fixtures. We will heat the house the Roman way, that is to say, in or beneath the floors, and make the wiring system itself be the light fixtures, throwing light upon the ceiling." With Wright's later works and ideas, through the framework of his organic architecture ideology, he pushes the boundaries of architecture, nearly approaching the realm of science fiction. His forward thinking surpassed the capabilities of construction and technology at the time, but it was visible that he had thoughts of living amidst the interconnectedness between modern technologies and the ecosystems of nature. He believed that how modern technological culture, for them the radio and the telephone, is consumed is heavily affected by our architectural surroundings, which can be seen in his open floor plan and large window areas. In conclusion, Rainer Banham agrees with Frank Lloyd Wright that all components of a building should appear unified, as though they belong together. Nothing should be attached to the structure without considering the effect it has on the whole. This ideology is apparent throughout all of Frank Lloyd Wright's works, even through the style changes, for the external styling of such houses had already become irrelevant. Usefulness and applicability of the interest in human engineering lay partly in the fact that it had been detached from any architectural style. Thank you for tuning into Crash Course Architecture.